What's up, guys? Who is gonna win the league? Who is gonna win the Champions League? Who is gonna be the best player in Europe this season? Those are the type of questions that I'll be asking myself or predicting it. So if you want to go for it and tell me in the comments who do you think you are, and then we'll start with the video. So in this video we'll have three main blocks. We will start with the Spanish block. In the Spanish block we will talk about more who I think is going to be the Liga winner, who I think is going to go to the Champions League, or who I think is going to get relegated. And then we'll talk more about the individual topics inside of the Spanish football, like the top scorer that we call in Spain Pichichi, who is going to be the best goalkeeper that we call Zamora, or who I think is going to be the player that disappoints me the most based on what I've seen so far. Then we'll pass on to the European competitions, where we'll have the two main ones that are the Champions League and the Europa League, where I'll talk about who I think is going to be the winner and what teams do I think are going to be closed or are going to be a little surprise to the public that are maybe not as expected to be there or they haven't been in the previous years. And then in the third one we'll talk about more general predictions, like for example, this is not going to be one, but if Vinicius is going to sign for Barcelona, that's a prediction that could be going into the third topic. To start with the Spanish side of the predictions, we'll start with the relegation teams. What teams do I think are going to get relegated? And I think there are two of them that are pretty understandable based on what we have seen so far, and you guys won't be too much surprised, but I think that the third one will be a little bit of a surprise for everybody, because what I've seen so far don't make me too confident that they can maintain that level. So the three teams are Valladolid, Espanyol. Those are the two teams that I think are pretty obvious that they can go down because of the level of their squads, and you haven't seen too much improvement based on the results. And then the third one, that they are on 9th position today as of Sunday 19th of January, is Rayo Vallecano. I think Rayo Vallecano is over point winning. That means that they are making more points than what they should, because based on luck, let's call it like that, they haven't had the performances to sustain what a first division should be. And I think if you look at the table right now, is Valladolid, Espanyol and Valencia, but I think Valencia is going to end up leaving that area because of the dimension of the club and the players that they have. They shouldn't be in that position, and I think Rayo Vallecano is going to suffer in these last games of the season. Going into the European spots, we'll have Conference League, Europa League and then Champions League. So based on that, I think we will say that the Spanish football has 2 spots for Europa League, 1 for Conference League and 4 for Champions League. This will depend based on how the Spanish team perform in the European competitions, that as of right now nobody is eliminated. Most likely Girona is, but as of right now nobody is. So we'll go with the Conference League. I think Girona is going to be that team that is going to be in the 7th position. Then we'll have Athletic Club and Real Sociedad in the Europa League spots. And the surprising one that I think will be for everybody is that I think for myself, Villarreal will be that 4th team. And then we'll have Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid, that I'll explain later what order do I think they are going to be. But I think Athletic Club is going to be too much concentrated, as I'm going to say later on the Europa League and the final being played on their stadium. And I think Real Sociedad and Girona will start to get better with these games. Obviously, Girona is going to finish their Champions League competition very soon, and I think they'll take out from their plate a lot of games, and they don't really have that much of a depth squad to be playing 2 or 3 competitions at this time. For the Champions League, that you guys probably think that I could be crazy by taking Athletic Club and putting Villarreal on. I think Villarreal has the team to perform at a big level, and I think they haven't been performing based on their defense, and I think they are looking in order to change their defense on this winter transfer market. And if they do that, I think they have the squad to do that. They have the players. They have Alex Baena. They have Gerard Moreno coming back. Ayoce Perez. They do have the players in order to get to the Champions League levels. And I honestly think that they're going to be able to overcome Athletic Club once they start getting to those late Europa League stages. who is gonna win the league? So that's the main question of this blog. I think Atletico de Madrid is. I think they have a very good squad. They know how to suffer. They know how to win games 1-0. They know how to make late mini winners. And I don't think either Barcelona or Real Madrid right now have the complete squad in order to do that. I do think Barcelona has a very good first 11, but I don't see having 14 or 15 players that can get to the later stages on the Champions League that I think they're gonna do, or get to the later stages of the Copa del Rey that I think they're gonna do. I do think Atletico de Madrid has the chances on this year with the Juliano Simeone, with Oblak being at this level, Jimenez being at this level. They are very solid defensively, and I don't think Real Madrid and Barcelona have been at that level defensively in order to make it to that first position. Going into the individual awards that I would give, obviously some of them are given by La Liga. We'll start with the top scorer. I think Mbappe is going to be the top scorer. I think he's going to outperform what Lewandowski is doing right now. I think you are actually seeing that Mbappe is getting more comfortable with the Real Madrid jersey, that Ancelotti is trying to find the space for him and Vinicius. I am not sure about Rodrigo yet. And then we'll have the goalkeeper award that, in my opinion, as I've said before, I think Oblak is one of the main guys for Atletico de Madrid, and as I think they're going to win the league, they will need a lot of clean sheets to do so, and I think Oblak will be the main man for that task. And then we'll go into the best player of the league, obviously not trying to put the same player into the top scorer and the best player, so I'll say that Rafinha is going to be the MVP of this season. I think the numbers that he's doing right now probably could be already to give him the MVP, but I think he's going to continue performing very well in this half a season, but not enough to give his team the championship. And then we'll have two other awards that I just made up. One of them is who is going to be the most surprising performances that we've seen, and the most delicate performances, so who has more disappointed me in this case. So I think the more surprising is going to be Marc Asado. Like, nobody really knew that he was able to play at this level, and he has put really incredible performances for this Barcelona team, and I think he's going to be a very good addition to the Barcelona history, probably. I don't know if to the level of Sergio Busquets, but he will be pretty close. And then we'll have who has disappointed me the most, and I think Abde, the Moroccan forward from Betis. I think he has had many opportunities, and he hasn't been able to improve the finishing. That is one of the main difficulties that he has. We were seeing a lot of good things as Osasuna. He signed with Betis, and he hasn't been able to perform to the level that everybody thought that he was going to be able to. Going into the second topic of the video, we'll go into European football. And this will be a little shorter because we don't have as many positions to go through. So we'll start with the Champions League. Who is going to win the Champions League for me? I think it's going to be Barcelona. As I said before, I think they are going to go into later stages on this competition and as well in the Copa del Rey, but I didn't make an award for that. But I think it's going to distract them from the league, and every Barcelona fan probably prefers to win the Champions League, as they've seen Real Madrid winning in the previous years in a row. And I think they have the team in order to perform in those two games that the Champions League needs. And then we'll have two surprising teams that I think are going to be, in my opinion, Arsenal and Aston Villa. I think they're going to go farther than what people think. They're going to be either in the semi-finals or in the quarter-finals. That probably nobody really expects Arsenal to be in those positions, neither Aston Villa. And then when we go to the Europa League, it's a dream that Athletic Club could be the winner of this trophy, just because it's on their stadium. Athletic Club hasn't won a European competition, and I think everybody is trying to put their eyes on that. Not really talking about it, but they are really playing very good in the league competition, playing very good in the Europa League competition as well, and they are now out of Copa del Rey, so they really need to focus only on two sides, and I think they'll be the main favorite for this competition. And also we'll have Real Sociedad and Manchester United trying to form, in my opinion, will be the surprises that will go further in this competition, basically because they'll have the chance to win a position to go into the Champions League that they won't have in the leagues because they'll have other teams above them. And the individual award, who is going to be the best player of the season? In my opinion, I think it's going to be either Mohamed Salah or Rafinha. And if Liverpool wins the Premier League, that means that Mohamed Salah is going to have a lot of goals and assists, and I'll give it to Mohamed Salah. Leaving the two main blocks that we had with the European and the Spanish football, we'll talk about the bonus track right now. That is a bunch of predictions that I thought about in the meantime that I was preparing this video, and there are some transfers or some other positional predictions. So we'll start with the first one, that is Alex Baena. I think he's going to leave Villarreal and go into a Premier League team. I think either Arsenal, Manchester City or even Aston Villa will be good options. I don't think Manchester United would be a good idea for him, but I don't think he's going to stay at Villarreal next season. Then we will have the teams that promote to the first division in Spain, which will be Almería in the top. I think Real Oviedo is going to be the second one, and I think Racing de Santander is going to be the one that promotes in the players. I think they all have the three best teams in the league, and I think from what I've seen that they are the most favorites to be a first division team next season. Then we will have Nottingham Forest going to the Champions League. I think that they are playing super good. They know what they do. They have Chris Wood, they have Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs White. They do have the players in order to play how they do, and I think they're gonna be a Champions League team next season. And the last one that I have, I think Bayer Leverkusen is gonna win a back-to-back Bundesliga. I think Bayern Munich is doing good, but I think they'll have a little bit of a downfall in during this time, and I think Bayer Leverkusen with Xabi Alonso will be able to win a back-to-back Bundesliga that they haven't done in a while. I hope you guys like the video about my predictions. I hope you don't think that I smoke based on what I said. But I wanted to know more about your predictions. Who do you think is going to be the Ballon d'Or, or who do you think is going to get relegated, or any of those predictions, even though from Barcelona or from England, Germany? I do accept all the predictions to see what do you guys think about the future in this season.